Welcome back to Traders Corner, our real-time, real money trading show. As we wind down to the end of the year, we'll bring you a retrospective of this year's trades as well as the details of our charity giveaway. And joining me this evening, as always, is Garth McKenzie, the founder and editor of Traders Corner. Garth, thanks very much for coming through.
Hi, Julieta.
Garth, so we've got quite a busy show tonight. Let's kick off, though, with the last trade that you had done for the portfolio, which was Shoprite. Did it work out quite as you'd wanted it to, or only partly?
Well, it worked out for us. Unfortunately, we had to close this portfolio off in order to do the donation to the charities. So I didn't manage to hold on to this trade enough to see it really reach its full potential, but it has worked out well. Let's have a quick look at it. It's nice to have ended the year with a winner as well. What I'd identified here on Shoprite was that the stock had been consolidating within a sideways range since the middle of October and out towards late November. You can see it had been trading in a sideways channel there between 174 Rand and 184 Rand. And this is a strong stock. It's in a very strong sector. It's got a lot of upward momentum. And my feeling here was that the longer the share spent during that sideways consolidation, eventually the more powerful the break to the top side would be. And I always felt that we would see an upside breakout here. A, because the trend is up and the general momentum of the stock is up. But also, as I pointed out, it's a share that a lot of people love to short for some or other reason. I think because they think it's so expensive and therefore the price must come down. But a stock that's got this much strong momentum behind it shouldn't be shorted. And as long as there is a short interest, those short sellers at some stage are going to probably need to buy back. And particularly if we see it break out the top of that range, then that inevitably will force the short sellers to cover. So what I'd identified was that the height of that trading range was about 10 Rand. And I figured that what you'd do is you'd project the height of that trading range upwards when you saw a breakout through the top of that range. Now what you can see there is we did see the share break out through the top of that trading range. I bought 600 CFDs for us at 178 Rand 50 and has put a stop loss at 172. And my target in this case was 195 Rand. Now, as you can see, it's got very close to 195 over the last couple of days. Unfortunately, though, I had to sell out a bit earlier than that because we had our end of year cut off. Anyway, so I sold it at 187 Rand and 84 cents. So that meant we made a profit of 4,800 Rand on the trade.
That's not too shabby.
Not too shabby. You know, we could have made a little bit more. And you know, if we had had the luxury of being able to hold on a bit longer, I would have held on for further upside. But we had to close off in order to donate the money to charity.
And what's it been doing? I mean, if you hadn't, would you still be holding today or over the last couple of days?
Yeah, I'd still be holding. It's been consolidating at around about the 190 Rand mark at the moment. But you know, that by and large is still a very bullish chart and still got a lot of upward momentum. And until that upward momentum breaks, I think it's still the path of least resistance is up.
Garth, so good, as you said, to end off the year with a strong trade, because we had a bit of a wobble before this one. So what did the actual final portfolio look like?
Yes, well, this is a snapshot of our portfolio over the last couple of weeks or couple of months, really, of our most recent trades that we've done on the show. So there you can see our Shoprite trade with the profit of 4,800 Rand. Unfortunately, we did have a couple of losers before that, which was a pity. But in the end, what we've got in our portfolio at the end of the year was 384,515 Rand. And viewers will recall that we start the year with 250,000 Rand, and whatever profits I make during the year, we then donate that profit part to charity. So it meant that there was 134,000 Rand here.
Fantastic.
We were up 53.8% for the year to date.
In fact, I think it's been the best trading year since we started, actually.
Yep. No, it has, by far and away. You know, late 2009 we started Traders Corner, so it's been going just over 3 years now, and this has been by far and away the best year we've ever had.
Garth, so we're going to have a quick retrospective of some of the trades, and next week we'll have a more in-depth look at some of the trades that we put on for the portfolio this year. But if you had to sort of graphikize the year that was, what does it look like?
Yeah, I've got some interesting statistics here for us, just to go back and look over the whole year. We've recorded 47 shows of Traders Corner throughout the year. I've done 26 trades during the year. So if you work that out, it's more or less one trade every 2 weeks. So I've been pretty patient here. We haven't been forcing trades. Of those, 15 of them were winners, so 58% of the trades that I did were winning trades. 9 of them were losers, so 34%, and then 2 of them were break-even trades. And that amounts to about 8% of the trades that were break even. So, one of my goals at the start of this year was to try and make sure that 6 out of 10 of my trades were winners. So we got very close to that,
yeah.
with a 58% success rate.
And also, just before we get to the next graph, we decided not to run the show in quarters as we've done in previous years, and I think that has actually definitely helped trading, because we were sort of quite I suppose I'm casting around for the word here, but it's a little bit artificial to actually do your trading in quarters, and that was one of the problems that we had to contend with.
Yeah, it is. What it often meant was that I had to close a good trade out because it was the end of the quarter. And in my own personal trading, I don't trade like that, and I just thought it's silly to do the same for the TV show. You want to actually have the time to get enough momentum on your side with trades and not be hindered by the quarterly cutoffs. So running it for a full year has certainly made it easier for me, and we'll continue to do it on this basis going forward.
Okay, so further statistics for 2013 you've got up there.
Yeah, so the average size of our winning trades was 4.4% gain on our capital. The average loss that we incurred on our losing trades was at minus 1.81% of capital. So that means that our average risk to reward ratio on all of our trades was 1 to 2.43, which is pretty healthy. And the average level of gearing that we had on this portfolio throughout the year was 1.6 times.
That's pretty low, isn't it?
It is pretty low. We trade CFDs and futures on this program, so that allows us to take leverage. And often these products are advertised that you can take 10 times gearing on your money. It's very irresponsible marketing, I think, and
not actually necessary, clearly,
not necessary.
to do well.
That's it. It's not necessary. With average gearing of 1.6 times on this portfolio, we've managed to make a 53% return for the year to date. So it just does go to show that you don't have to gear yourself too aggressively in order to make good money.
Just going back to the risk to reward ratio, the average 1 to 2.43 times, was that kind of what you were looking for? I think you sort of look for a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio, don't you?
Yeah, I was looking for an average of 1 to 3 for this year. And we didn't quite get as good as that, but this is still quite good in my mind.
So further graph to, I suppose, illustrate the performance of the Traders Corner portfolio?
Yeah, so this is a histogram over here, and it shows all of our trades for the year to date. Basically the way it works is the little red blocks, which all spike to the downside, those indicate the risk that we were willing to take on all of our trades. So you'll see that never were we willing to risk more than 2% of our capital on any one trade. And then the blue lines indicate the result or the reward. So what you really want here is a situation where your winners, your blue lines, are nice tall spikes that should look like the New York City skyline. And where you do have losing trades, the blue lines should never really exceed the length of the red lines. And you can see, looking at the bottom here, where we've had a couple of the blue ones that have gone slightly below what our risk profile was, that's invariably been because of transaction costs and slippage on our trades. But for the most part, very disciplined looking histogram here. You can see that the losses were all kept well within check, not really much more than what we were willing to risk on each trade, and the winners were nice and tall. So if you have a look, basically our average winner, as I said previously, our average winner came in at 4.4% of capital, and our average loser came in at minus 1.81% of capital.
Just going back to that put spread, which is one of the first trades you've got there, that's sort of anomalous, isn't it, within the portfolio? Because in a way there was more risk taken, but actually it wasn't a particularly risky trade.
Yeah, that really was there to put a hedge in place for our portfolio. So yes, we lost about 4% of capital on that particular put spread structure, but because we had that protection, it did allow me to get a little bit more aggressive on the long side with some of our other trades. And you can see the ones right next to it there. We had an Aussie 40 long, and then Aspen as well, where we made very good money. We made 8% and about 13% of capital respectively on each of those two trades.
And if you had to overlay the portfolio's performance against what the JSE did this year, what does it look like?
It looks like
pretty
this.
Good.
Yeah, very good. So the yellow line is our Traders Corner portfolio, up 53.8%. We started with 250,000 Rand, and that has grown to 384,000 Rand throughout the year. The same money, if you had invested it in the JSE All Share Index at the beginning of the year, would have been up 19%, so you would have had 285,000 Rand there. But you can see a tremendous amount of outperformance for our Traders Corner portfolio.
And there were certain shares that did help us, and that leads us into our little insert that we've done on the charity giveaway, because of course you had about 134,000 Rand to give. So let's take a look at that now. Inspired trades on the Rand, Naspers and Aspen helped the Traders Corner charity portfolio turn a gain of 134,000 Rand on an initial investment of 250,000. Given the size of the profit, Traders Corner will split this year's haul between previous beneficiary, Gerald Fitzpatrick House for the elderly, and the Princess Alice Adoption Home, both in Johannesburg.
The work you do here is absolutely wonderful, and it's so impressive to see what you're doing, and it really does give me a great deal of pleasure to hand over this proof of the transfer of 67,000 Rand that I've done into your bank account this morning. Which I trust you're going to put to good use at the home.
God, thank you. We will put it to very good use, and as I said to you earlier, really there are no words. Just to say thank you, we're speechless. This is just the best Christmas present we could have had for our babies, and the money will be used to care for them.
Princess Alice was first opened in 1930 by the granddaughter of Queen Victoria to house unwed and destitute mothers among Johannesburg's burgeoning mining community. It now cares for up to 30 babies, both those that have been abandoned and those consented for adoption. The home operates under the aegis of Johannesburg Child Welfare, which also handles the adoption process. Princess Alice employs 19 full-time staff, but it's heavily reliant on volunteers who help give personal attention and stimulation to the babies, which is crucial for their development. As with all charities, funding is a constant battle.
I think with all charities it is a struggle at the moment, there's no question about that, but we are very blessed with support and donors, such as this amazing donation that has come in. We get what is called a retention fee from the Department of Social Development, and that's an amount that's paid out monthly for each of the babies in our care. But it does cover less than 50% of our costs, so fundraising is a constant activity around here.
Gerald Fitzpatrick House, on the other hand, looks after more than 80 elderly ladies with little or no income. It's been a regular beneficiary since Traders Corner kicked off in 2009. Overall, the show's generated just over 250,000 Rand for charity since inception and will start afresh in 2013. Well, still with me in studio is Garth McKenzie, who is, of course, the instigator of this charity largesse. So fantastic performance, Garth. And as I said, it's been actually one of the best years for the show. And to date, you've raised over R250,000 Rand for charity.
Yeah, that's right. Over R250,000 Rand's been donated from the Traders Corner show through the last 3 and a bit years that we've been running it. That's very rewarding. You know, it's very rewarding for me to do that for the charities, and I hope that the viewers learn a lot off this show. You know, our thing here really is promoting proper trading principles, and I hope we put that across to the viewers, and obviously the charities are big beneficiaries at the end of it as well.
Yeah. Well, one of the initiatives you've started as well is the courses this year, so a quick update on the upcoming course that you have for Traders Corner.
Yeah, so that I've wrapped up all my courses for 2012, but I've got another one coming up now in January, the 19th of January 2013. So those viewers who are interested and want to get their year off to a cracking start and learn a bit about high probability trading, how to do the sort of stuff that we do here on this show, they're welcome to email me, garth@traderscorner.co.za, or they can get in touch with me via Twitter or via Facebook as well.
And just an update on what we're going to be doing, because we've still got 2 shows left for the year. So as I said, we're going to be taking a bit more of an in-depth look at some of the trades that you put on this year.
Yeah, we'll have a look at some of the trades, some of the winners, some of the losers, and see what can we learn. You know, it's always useful to go back retrospectively and look at past trades and see, could we have made more, or was our stop loss in the right place? Did we get out and thank goodness the stop loss was there? You know, that sort of thing. So we'll go back and look retrospectively at some of our past trades. We'll do that next week, and then the following week, which will be the final showing of Traders Corner for the year, we're going to look at what do you need to become a trader? What tools do you need? What books can you read? What packages of software are useful, etc., etc., to try and help viewers understand what it takes to become a trader.
Yeah, so a bit more of a practical approach as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Garth, well, we'll leave it there and we'll chat to you next week, and thanks as always for joining us. That is, of course, Garth McKenzie, the founder and editor of Traders Corner.